This video will be a bit different. I decided for my next big project that I will get a platform that I can build and potentially expand with ideas. Being a big fan of tanks, I opted to get the entry-level tank chassis, which is the TS100 model. I went on AliExpress. It's a great place for cheap electronic parts. If you're into this sort of hobby, then it's a great place to get parts at a really cheap price. If you have patience and you're willing to wait for shipments to arrive, then it's worth in my book. For example, the chassis took about, I'd say 3 weeks to get here. So I believe it's amazing considering the situation we're all facing lately. You can see the package was incredibly well packaged. It did fit in my mail compartment, so I didn't have to go to the post office to retrieve it. So basically you can see that they do provide tools and extra parts, which is good because you'll see in the next slide that some of the screws have defects, making them useless. You can see here there's no way I can use an Allen key with this screw. Let's get with the fun part of the build. The hardest thing was to put the tracks, couplings, and sprockets. I noticed that I could not pass a certain length with the sprocket on the coupling, so I had to grind a bit of the inside sprocket so I could push it further. You can see here I managed to push it a bit further after grinding it, so it was situated between those two keys. Everything looks great, so I went and installed the first track. Tracks goes on a specific side, like you can see here. This is the complete build. I didn't really like how the tracks weren't tight. Usually that would give problems when going at high speed and cause the track to fall off. One thing I noticed is that the front sprocket and the back sprocket weren't aligned at all. I'm not sure if I caused the issue by not building it right, but I don't believe so. To be honest, I haven't found any instructions on the net that would help me build this model. So I took some measurements to see how far off we were, and that wasn't much, but enough to be a concern. The easiest way out would be to pull on the coupler, but that didn't work because I ended up going too far and the key would not be secured on the shaft. Like any other hobbyist enthusiast, I went in my parts bin and found these washers with rubber seal. These are meant for installing tin roofing, so it can seal and be waterproof. Tried them and it worked like a charm. You can always find these pack at Home Depot. You can see that I installed them from the inside to push the sprocket a bit. The fit was just perfect. I really wanted to tighten these tracks, and I did remove a section, but ended up being too short, so I went in my other parts bin for Tamiya parts and found these little sprocket and bushing. I managed to mod the tracks, set up using a 3mm X rod, and the result were great. One thing that gave me a big problem was that one track kept falling off for some reason, and after looking carefully I noticed little holes on each sprockets. And these needs to be aligned, otherwise the T10 sprocket would not be aligned and the track would keep falling off. I did remove the mod after all. It would take too much space on the platform. You can see here that there's a small wobbling, but not enough to be a concern. Overall, I say the build is successful so far, and for the price, I'm happy. Can't wait to expand this platform and add extra features to it.